Hello, everybody. Welcome to the Fandom Post Radio Podcast. I am your host, Kate, and joining me this week is DJ.
I am here.
And Kestrel.
Why does he get to be first again?
Because I was doing that off the top of my head, not actually looking at the Discord list like I usually do.
And Craig.
I wish that could get picked up on our recordings.
Now everyone's like, what the fuck are you talking about?
Oh, man. I might just grab it, the sound clips. Oh, wait, it won't be in the file. I gotta find a way to record it. Damn.
If any of you have recorded stuff on Discord, you might know what we're talking about.
Yeah, we used the Craig bot to record our stuff. He has a very pleasant robot voice. We are just going to check in on the current anime season, but first we are going to be talking about the current anime news, which we got some very sad late-breaking news, but we'll save that for the end so we can all be sad together. We'll start off with, because it's been a while since we've recorded, so we'll start off with news that broke right after our last recording, of course, because that's what always happens with us. The ongoing saga of Crunchyroll being for sale, and AT&T keeps shoving it towards Sony going, want? And Sony keeps going, nah, man. And then they push it towards Sony again and go, want? And they dropped the price a little bit, so this weird haggling over Crunchyroll is continuing. And I don't think there's been any movement on this since the 30th, but that's still happening. They're in talks.
There have been two stories about this total now. The first one was that it was absolutely not happening, and the second is that it is almost certainly happening now. So it's not like nothing has changed. It's pretty significant. Sony will almost definitely be owning Crunchyroll within the next however long it takes for the deal to close.
So this is going to be interesting, because then we'll be back in the everybody's one big happy family boat again. But It's always the whole, monopoly, except this is basically bad for Sentai.
Yeah. It's bad for any of the independent distributors. It worked out surprisingly well when Crunchyroll and Funimation were partnered before. Obviously, they weren't owned by the same parent company. And Funimation Aniplex being under the Sony umbrella has caused some good things to come out of it. Really, the only bad thing is the fact that Funimation gets a lot of their simulcasts exclusively, which isn't great because of Funimation's players, but hopefully with all of it together, Sony will consolidate it, at least have it like it used to be, where Crunchyroll would get all of the simulcasts. Maybe just fold Funimation now into Crunchyroll, who knows? I am curious if they're going, because all the talks have been like buying Crunchyroll, but Crunchyroll is very far removed from AT&T. There are a lot of levels in between. I'm curious if they're going to buy one of those parent companies or just Crunchyroll, because like Verve is owned by Elation, which also owns Crunchyroll, which is under Otter Media. So maybe if they only get Crunchyroll, then they don't have Verve, which would be weird, because like Verve is basically built off of Crunchyroll, and Crunchyroll's apps on most devices just switch to be the Verve interface. So I'm very curious to see what happens there. But yeah, it's probably good for a lot of reasons, and it'll be good to have like some real competition for Netflix. But yeah, the monopoly, everything owned by giant media conglomerate, kind of sucks for small independent distributors.
Except for the fact that they were already owned by giant media conglomerate, the biggest giant media conglomerate ever. The damn company that was practically synonymous with the concept of monopolies. One of the few companies that ever once, was broken up because it was too damn fucking big. So.
Right, but when everyone's owned by a different giant media conglomerate, then that's fine. When they're all owned by the same one, it's more worrying. The same monopoly, because anime was certainly not under a monopoly before. Now it's getting a lot closer to that.
Yeah, the market keeps contracting. Someday it will expand again, and then it will contract again, as things are wont to do.
Yeah, I mean, in general, like the move to for the big media conglomerates to buy everyone of any significance has just been the trend in media in general for the past decade or two. Just more and more, and I mean, it's a sign that anime has been getting a lot bigger in the past few years, a lot more mainstream, a lot more valuable. There have been a lot of articles coming out from anime related companies and just massive companies and news sources all over media and entertainment just about how valuable anime has become as a genre, a brand, a medium. Um, and some of these companies like Crunchyroll's going to sell for around $1 billion. Uh, and yeah, Sony really wants to own a lot of anime stuff.
Yeah, it's kind of weird. I mean, they're trying to, shore up their business content wise, and it's like it's weird because this isn't actually involving content so much. This is involving, distribution, which they haven't really been too hands on with a lot of things. Their own efforts have kind of fizzled and flailed about in weird ways with, at least on a couple of different fronts. So, I don't know. It's interesting. We'll see what happens with this. I don't think I mean, as far if this purchase goes through, there are, this isn't such a bad thing. Sony doesn't tend to buy things just to destroy them. Unlike
Yeah,
some people, they're not,
I mean,
venture capitalists. They are a company that has an actual stake in wanting things to do well.
yeah, I mean, it's not new for them. They've owned all of Aniplex for all of its existence, which has been the biggest Japanese anime company forever. Um, its American branch has done extremely well. They've owned Funimation for years and have not only been doing pretty well with it, but actually let their very far disconnected heads talk to each other and have Funimation and Aniplex work together, which a lot of people didn't expect when it was first announced. So yeah, they're making some efforts to actually care about it. So if they drop $1 billion on Crunchyroll, I don't think they're gonna just toss it to the side.
So hopefully, only good things. We need some only good things.
Yeah. And it was just announced just recently that Sentai was going to be Crunchyroll's new home video partner. So assuming this goes through, that's not
Yeah.
going to last very long. It's going to go right back to Funimation, which I'm fine with because that was a really good deal they had going.
Yeah. But man, poor Sentai.
Yeah,
Uh,
yeah. There's some other poor Sentai news in here, kind of. Um, yeah, and I didn't put this on the news doc just because I assume there will continue to be like records broken involving this. But going back to just how valuable anime is recently, especially like with Sony and Aniplex and stuff they're pursuing. The Demon Slayer movie that just came out in Japan recently has been like ridiculously successful. It immediately became the third most successful anime movie of all time. Um, the fifth highest grossing movie in Japan of all time. Um, eighth highest grossing movie in 2020 worldwide, second highest animated of 2020, etc.
damn.
Yeah, crazy successful. And it just came out like a month ago. And, obviously it's not out in America or a bunch of other countries. And I assume there are still restrictions in place. So, yeah, it's extremely impressive. Um, yeah, there was a funny little impromptu interview with Miyazaki where someone's like, "Hey, have you heard about this new fucking otaku movie that's maybe coming close to passing Spirited Away in box office?" And he's like, "No, I don't care. I don't watch anime. Why are you talking to me? I'm just an old man who picks up trash." Everything they asked him, he's just like, "I don't know. I'm just an old man who picks up trash."
Why did they even bother? Anyway, okay, next news item.
Next news item. So, following up on something from last time about the Muv-Luv alternative anime. So, a year ago, last October, it was announced that there would be a Muv-Luv alternative anime
really
period.
A whole year ago?
You said that last episode.
Oh my god, it's still unreal.
It is, yeah. So that was announced October 2019. And then October 2020, it was announced that it would be a TV show. I think that was the only thing. And now it's announced that it will premiere in October 2021. And even better, it is going to be on the Plus Ultra programming block on Japanese television. And every single show on that block in existence has been a Netflix exclusive in the US, which means that we won't be seeing it until 2022 at some point.
Oof.
So lots of very long waits for this show.
Oof.
Yeah.
God, wish the anger. Anyway.
Yeah, it's very obnoxious. Yeah, I don't know if anyone has any other thoughts on that. It was just kind of a follow-up to something I had last time.
Nah, no thoughts. No thoughts. I have no thoughts.
Next piece of news. So Naoki Urasawa, creator of some of the greatest manga of all time, like Monster and 20th Century Boys and Pluto, has stated that he is making an anime. Now, there was a Pluto anime announced 3.5 years ago that nothing has come of since then. I think that was probably one of our first news stories that we talked about on this podcast. So I don't know if it's that, or he's making an original anime where he's contributing story and character designs or something. Nothing else is known about it, but obviously him being involved in something, and especially since his works so rarely get adapted into anime, is definitely exciting to watch out for.
Yeah, there was no details on if it was going to be original or...
Right.
Yeah, so we don't know.
Yeah, I mean, I hope the Pluto anime happens eventually. I don't know what's been holding that up for so long. But I'd be excited for that, or an original anime, or Jesus, if they finally adapt 20th Century Boys. Not holding my breath for that one.
Yeah. Man. I'd be stoked for Pluto or 20th Century Boys.
Yeah, oh yeah, totally.
Those
and I think
be awesome.
All his previous anime adaptations have been by Madhouse. I think Pluto was going to be by Maruyama's most recent studio. I don't think it was Mappa, it was M2, I think, his newest one. But yeah, I mean, Monster got a very good adaptation. No one can quite make an anime that uses the medium of anime as well as Urasawa uses the medium of manga, because he just it's tough when you're not supposed to know what people's voices sound like, and just the art of using the suspense of the page turn. He's just so good at it. But Monster was still an excellent anime adaptation, and something like that with modern, really high quality animation would be pretty incredible for some of his other works.
Monster just pisses me off because of the whole situation with how... Yeah.
I would like to watch that one day.
Yes, exactly.
That would be
good. Yeah. I'm really glad that Viz did at least dub all of it and put it up on Hulu for a while, so I was able to watch it all when that happened.
Wait, when did that happen?
Oh, it was 10 years ago.
Oh, Hulu was around 10 years ago? Jesus.
Yeah, it's been around for a lot longer than you think it has.
I mean,
wow.
I feel like it wasn't...
Time fucking just flies by now.
Oh, I know. Yeah, it's scary.
We're gonna die soon.
No, God damn, why would you even say words like that this year?
Jesus. Yeah, anyway.
You should read my game.
So yeah, that's a thing that's happening. Hopefully it happens soon and is good. Next piece of news. So 11 Arts has announced that they have licensed the Shirobako movie. Now, the reason this is significant and weird is because, of course, Sentai has the rights to the TV series. Now, 11 Arts is like kind of known for licensing movies from TV series that other companies have. They did the Laughing Under the Clouds movies, where Funimation had the series, and they did the Sound Euphonium movies, where Pony Canyon had the series.
They have Makia too, I think.
They do
11
have Makia.
Arts.
Yeah, but I mean that wasn't like a series.
Oh yeah. I'm just naming things I know from them.
Yes. They also have A Silent Voice.
Does 11 Arts have that?
Yeah,
no, they do. Yeah.
And they put out some really nice limited editions with Right Stuff, Nozomi, like those latter two. So yeah, but it's weird because like, Sentai just went back and dubbed the whole show, which has like 1,000 characters. So if they were that invested in it, then you'd think that they would try to get the movie. So I'm not entirely sure what happened here. Obviously the hope is that they will get the same cast back. I think they did for the Laughing Under the Clouds. They got the Dallas cast for that, so hopefully they get the Houston cast for this.
Man, yeah. Talk about things that probably didn't need that kind of attention. Laughing Under the Clouds. I reviewed that TV show. It wasn't very good.
Yeah, the TV show was not good. I heard the movies were maybe better, but I certainly wasn't interested. But they were like, they seemed pretty ambitious and like high quality compared to the series. It was like that, was it Token Ranbu? Am I getting that right? Something like that. Where they had like the really shit quality, like cute boys doing cute things series, and then there was the alternate UFO Table series that was like dark and gritty and super high quality animation. It kind of struck me like that. The series versus the movies for that franchise. But anyway, they did go back and get the original cast for that. The Sound Euphonium movies, one of them's like a spin-off in a different style and everything. But weirdly, they had the two movies dubbed at different studios, and the first one was NYAV Post, so it was like half New York, half LA cast. And then the second one was at Bang Zoom, and Bang Zoom kept some of the LA actors in their roles, but then recast other ones and didn't even give them a chance to like audition for their roles, even though they were in Bang Zoom dubs all the time. So yeah, that was a weird situation. But hopefully they don't do anything weird with this one. And I don't know why this happened, but
I'm guessing the only thing I could think of is Japan.
Yeah, I didn't really look into whether they were significantly different production committees or anything. Because that would be kind of the only thing that makes sense. Or Sentai didn't want it for some reason, which seems unlikely if they just went back and dubbed it, or they were just outbid, which, I mean, it happens. It's just weird if you already have a franchise. I guess Funimation just got the new Log Horizon, so who knows?
Yeah, but I could see them actually trying to get the same voice cast, only for the major people.
You're right, but it's still weird for them to just grab season 3 when Sentai is, still in existence.
Yes, that is true.
Hopefully they're not, like, doing badly. It kind of doesn't bode that well.
No.
Yeah, interesting.
Mm.
And then our last piece of news, so the Ocean Studios veteran voice actor Kirby Morrow passed away yesterday as of this recording. He was 47, no details on cause of death. His family just announced it on Facebook today. And he was known as Miroku in Inuyasha, which was a role he just started reprising again just like a week ago with the new Yashahime dub, which was really cool that they got all the Canadian cast back for their roles, even though they were doing the new stuff in LA.
Yeah. I mean, they got back, totally unrelated to this news bit, but they got back, what's his name? Sesshomaru's voice actor.
Yeah, so David K was like...
Yeah, that's it, David K. Just Clank, too, and the Ratchet & Clank games were really weird, but...
Yeah, that was an interesting situation because he didn't reprise Sesshomaru in the final act because he had moved to LA, but because this is being dubbed in LA, he reprised him in this. But yeah, anyway, Kirby Morrow, that was probably his most iconic role. He was also Vaughn in the Ocean dub of Escaflowne, Mikami in Death Note, Trowa in Gundam Wing, and one of the many ocean voices of Goku. So yeah, and he did some live action work too. A lot of those ocean guys did, because a lot of like Stargate and stuff were all filmed in Vancouver. So lots of big roles throughout different nerd fandom. So it's very sad, very young, very great actor. Always loved his voice, and some iconic roles. I've been rewatching Inuyasha on the Blu-rays recently, so been hearing a lot of him. Sad to hear.
It's very shocking and very sad, and because even though he wasn't super prolific in the like in the world of dubs, you look at it's like, oh, he was some major characters and some very popular shows for a long from way back, so it's shocking.
Yeah.
I saw him at the first Anime Boston. He was on that big Gundam Wing panel.
Yeah, I never got to see him at a convention. I feel like, have I ever met a Canadian voice actor? I don't think I have. Wow.
Yeah, it's very bad. Seeing that news pop up on my feeds right before going to record, I was like, what the fuck?
Yeah.
Sheer just keeps coming. Sheer won't stop. God. Yeah. Anyway, 47's way too young.
Yeah.
So, condolences to his family and friends. Alright, we should move on from the news. Hopefully no more late breaking news. Something will break overnight, and we'll be like, tomorrow we'll be cursing it out on the Slack channel like we usually do.
And it'll be something that, like, we directly contradict in the recording of this episode.
Oh, yeah, totally.
It'll come before the episode is released. Anyone listening to it will be like, what, did these idiots not see the news? That's what I assume happens every time.
Every single time. Every time! And then we're always yelling the next morning on Slack, what the hell? If it happens again this time, I'm just gonna grab you for 2 seconds, jump in here, and be like, this happened!
Yeah, it's true.
We know! Since I probably won't get a chance to edit this until Saturday. Boo! Boo! Yeah. So the anime season's still going. We are a little more than halfway through the fall season. Taking stock of our shows. Wow, the top of your list is One Piece, huh?
Yeah. One Piece is really good right now. And
I shouldn't be surprised, but
yeah, like, there's not a lot this season that's just like completely blowing me away. One Piece is extremely good. There are a few other pretty good shows going on right now.
You've got some long time stuff on here going in One Piece. The Holdouts.
Yeah, I mean those are the only two. Everything else, the oldest show on here was last season.
That's true.
Because I think it was between winter and spring of this year was like the first time ever that I only had those two shows carrying over. Everything else ended.
I like your copy-paste DJ. It's got the schedule of these shows listed.
Yeah, that's like a fucking notepad document that I just have on my desktop that tells me what days to watch things.
That's super funny.
Yeah. Not much has changed on my ranking except for one very notable jump up from the sport climbing girls anime, which went from like 15 to 9.
Wow.
So, yeah, it's actually like they kind of stopped caring about the fan service, and now it's just kind of a fun sports anime about climbing. So, that's cool.
Interesting.
Yeah. It's like still not awesome or anything, but it's like it's good. Like I enjoy watching it. I'm rooting for the team, which is what sports shows want you to do.
Yeah.
That's interesting. You don't usually see shows like forego the fan service.
I mean, Citrus did that too, where it was like they go really heavy on it in the very beginning to try and like lure people in, and they're just like, surprise, it's actually something a little different.
That's what turned me off of that show.
Yeah, I understand that. It's May comes on really strong, but it's very story driven later on.
So, any other big shifts in anybody's lists here, or is this about where you expected things to be?
I finally dropped a couple things. I gave them each 6 episodes, and then they kind of reached the tipping point. That key show's like barely holding on.
You know, I really love it. And this last episode really like kind of hammered that home for me. If it does what I expect it's going to do, I will absolutely adore it. Because I feel like the reason that they're spending every episode on just like, this is an outing, it's a thing about us having fun, it's a fun summer and blah blah blah. Summer Pockets does that too. And that's, I guess, fucking what Jun Maeda loves. It's just like a sideshow of summer memories before everything goes to hell. And if everything goes to hell, and you can look back on like all of those fun times and be like, man, I miss when things were just quirky and we were just having a good time. I love shows that are disconnected in that sense, where it's just, we're just hanging out right now, and then things are gonna get miserable. That's all I want. That's all I want.
You just want things to go to hell.
That's how life is. It's like, yeah, some days are good. It's you just like, you never know when shit's gonna go wrong. And I think that if shit does go wrong in this show, it encapsulates that perfectly.
Yeah. We'll see. It's it's halfway through now or whatever, and nothing's really happened yet. So I'm a little tired, but hopefully something good happens and it has enough time to really be effective, and I don't get like just bored of it by then.
The one part I don't really get, that's kind of like throwing a wrench in my theory, is the weird hacker dude.
Yeah, that's definitely seems very out of left field compared to everything else.
I just remembered that he exists in that show.
Yeah, I remember that like once every few episodes. I'm like, what the hell is that guy? What is his deal? How does he factor into the story?
Yeah, so that doesn't make any sense right now. But I like shows filled with nothing, because I like visual novels. A lot of visual novels are filled with nothing.
I don't know. I like those shows sometimes. I guess I just I don't like the characters enough yet, and I don't find their antics to be endearing enough yet. It just seems like it's kind of, I don't know, banking on you really digging that kind of humor, and I'm not that into it.
As somebody who plays Mahjong, I want to say that the Mahjong episode of this show is one of the funniest things I have ever seen. But for anyone that doesn't understand Mahjong, it was probably just ridiculous.
Yeah.
Oh, it was genius.
I did like I think it was the episode after that, episode 5, with the Izanami family. That's like started to show a little.
That was a really good episode, yeah.
What Key is capable of. And yeah, I think it's just, we have a very different look at a very different perspective on the show because of its pedigree. If it was just from someone else, then we probably wouldn't expect as much from it, both for better or worse. And it's kind of like the reason we want it to be so great, and then also the reason why we may end up being somewhat disappointed because we just expect so much. But yeah, I will say that episode.
Charlotte for me too. It was I fucking loved Charlotte until the very end, and now it's just like, God damn it.
Speaking of Charlotte, did you like that cameo in the last episode?
What was it? I can't even remember.
I don't even remember the character's name, but a dude from Charlotte is in the last episode.
Oh yeah, I do remember. Okay, yeah, I remember now.
Yeah.
That was fun.
Yeah. But yeah,
I like the key cinematic universe.
Right,
I hope
yeah.
Tomoya shows up next episode.
Everyone's got to have their cinematic universe. Um, yeah, I liked that one episode, but I didn't like the Michonne episode very much at all. I don't really like key stuff just being wacky and over the top, and I realized that like both the male protagonist and the best friend character are the best friend character from every other key work.
Oh yeah,
Which
100%.
is I feel like that doesn't work. You need the dynamic of some variety there and not just the same guy twice.
It's even like more similar to the best friend dude in Summer Pockets, but I guess
I'm
they're
sure, yeah.
like even like down to the hairstyle, like they're pretty
Right.
much the same guy.
Well, it's like Tsunohara and his Kanon equivalent are just the same character. Um, so yeah, I think you know a less wacky protagonist, at least as like a foil to that best friend character, is a nice dynamic that they usually have. Whereas this, it's just a little
He's
too
goofy
much.
as shit.
Yeah, like
I like him though.
the last
He's
episode
grown
just
on
showed
me.
how they're the same character.
Oh yeah, 100%. I like Yoda. He's cool.
He's definitely not cool. He's a fucking baby. Which I guess it's nice once in a while because there are a lot of key protagonists who are just cool.
Do you think Jun Maeda ever played basketball? Because I'm starting to feel like he did.
I mean, I feel like he definitely played baseball.
I mean, everybody in Japan plays baseball.
Yeah, but like he has an uncommon obsession with baseball.
Mm-hmm.
I wonder if he grew up on like Touch and that guy what's his name, Michiru or something. That guy's manga because you know he all his stuff is super sad baseball manga. Mitsuru Adachi, that's right.
Super sad baseball. That's a perfect combination of things.
Right, and so that's like exactly the two things that Jun Maeda loves: baseball and making you personally cry. Um, so
Bless him.
I assume that's like an inspiration for him. I don't know.
Yeah, he's an interesting guy.
They got the baseball out in the first episode this time. I feel like it's getting like more and more blatant. Like next key show is just gonna start with a baseball game.
I hope so. Little Busters 2, kind of.
Right,
You know,
yeah.
there was like a 2, but it was also not 2. Also, that wouldn't work at all.
Yeah, we'll see. It's definitely a wait and see. It's nice to have like originals because you have no idea where they're going and no one does. And so you can't be like, oh, I wonder if people like the original.
There aren't enough original shows anymore. It's like,
yeah.
Oh man, I just want like something that everyone can be surprised by.
Right, yeah. So it's nice to have that, and you know, it carries the risk of you don't get to turn to someone who's familiar with the source material and be like, is it worth sticking through this? But it's nice to all be on the same page and have the same reactions. So yeah, given the state it's in, where we're halfway through, not a lot has happened yet. We don't really know how the plot is gonna hit. Yeah, it's hard to really give this show too much judgment, but it has gotten to the point where I'm a little tired of its antics, and I hope that it turns around quickly enough that I don't end up like just not wanting to continue.
The antics have slowed down the last couple, apart from the car chase, have slowed down the last couple episodes. I think
I guess
it's like Hina's like becoming a character.
Yes, but like I don't know that most of the cast is just kind of like wacky visual novel tropes a lot of the time.
Yeah.
Which you know, when that's most of each episode, it gets a little old.
Maybe I've just like become desensitized to wacky visual novel tropes.
I mean, obviously, you're more of a fan of them than me anyway.
Yeah.
So it's not surprising that you enjoy this more than me.
Speaking of things that aren't surprising, that I enjoy more than you, and also to harken back to not knowing if you should stick with things, Rest in peace, Higurashi, I guess. It's you know, I the last like 2 weeks, like so right when you like dropped the show, I was starting to come around. I was like, you know what? I think I dig this. This is cool. It's probably my favorite arc right now. But then like the arc ended today, and I'm back in the boat of just like, I guess I'll keep going. I don't know how to feel about this, and it's really weird since it's a franchise I normally love so much. Just like taking something that you're super into and making it not that great anymore. I don't know if this has ever happened to me before.
This is the One Punch Man season 2 for me. I'm not going to say Berserk because that was like,
yeah, that's
not even
that had no chance, and also it was not really a continuation of the good TV series from the 90s, so that doesn't really count. But One Punch Man, it was like, a direct continuation of a masterpiece of an adaptation a few years later, and they just really kind of shit the bed on it.
Actually, I guess I do feel the same way about pretty much every non-UFO Table Fate show. But I don't even put that in the same category as UFO Table Fate anymore. It's just not even Fate.
Right.
It's not a good feeling though. It's just your expectations are so high.
Exactly.
And they just get punched in the mouth repeatedly. So that's probably going to fall a few more grades by the end. I'm really hoping the last arc comes around and fucking, I don't know, makes it good. Because that's how the original season was. It's like I went through fucking 20 plus episodes and it was like, this is okay. And then you get to like episode 23 or something and it's like, holy shit, this is actually awesome. So maybe that'll happen again.
Yep. I dropped it. It was pretty clear from our last episode that I had no real reason to continue.
Yeah.
And even beyond not enjoying it, it didn't really seem like I was the audience, or at least I couldn't tell whether or not I was.
I can't even tell if I am.
Just the fact that we have to deal with this every week. Yeah. It's not something you should have to question every week of a show. Should I even be watching this?
If this is just an alternate telling, it's not a good one. This is not how you want to tell this story.
That's unfortunate.
Yeah. Oh well. You know what else is unfortunate?
What?
Ikebukuro Westgate Park.
Nah, I liked the last 3 episodes of that show.
I liked the one with the dad. I think the war going on is just silly.
At least it was
actual gang stuff.
Actual gang stuff, yeah.
That part's cool. It's better than normal.
Yes, this is true.
But the pedestal was so low that it was just, I feel like since the last couple episodes have been watchable, we might be a little too excited right now.
I think I like the groundedness of the show, and they clearly, the animators clearly actually are putting effort into, the animation, because the show never looks bad, which is, always a plus in my book when it doesn't look like, everything's wonky all the time. And the music in the series was awesome. But yeah, if you're looking for hardcore gang violence, this is not the show for you. It's mostly just Makoto trying to keep everything in check still.
So that's that's what's confusing to me about it. Is because that's not what the show is about. But the last 2 episodes tried to make you think that that's what the show is about.
The funny thing is, it's I went back and I looked at what the plot of the original novels were. And then I looked at what the time frame for them was, and then I looked at this new series, and I realized that the thing that's in the description of the series about, tragedy causes him to whatever, that's coming up. And I think they're going to move into the original plot of the books for the last half of the series. So that's what I'm expecting the show to go, is into one long continuous storyline. So if that starts in the next episode, I wouldn't be surprised, because looking at the timeline of the original novels and stuff had said that like everything like that happened and those things happen at New Year's, and the show is right around Christmas time or something right now in the show. Like it was winter, at least in that other episode. I don't know if it was winter in this past one. I wasn't paying enough attention. But, yeah, so it'll be interesting to see if that's where the show... I think that's what they're going to do, and if they don't do that, then they decided to just...
long for a lead-in, because it's only a 12-episode show. We're halfway through it now, unless there'd be multiple seasons. I don't know how long the source material is, but...
The source material was, I think, like, only 4 novels.
Then it's weird if you're going to take half of the show to get to, like, where the books start.
Well, like, the book was, like, what... If you read, like just basically what the premise of the book is, yeah, it sounds like something that could be done in, like, 4 episodes. It doesn't sound like some long, convoluted thing. It sounds like something that'd be very doable in, 5 episodes or something. So, the other thing is, it's like, the novels were originally, obviously, written in the 90s, probably set in the 90s, and I don't think the gang stuff was as prominent. Like, the Red Angels, I don't think they even existed. So they, like, very much just kind of took the source, updated it, had it, turned it into, like, kind of like an episodic thing, and probably are going into, the whatever, or an updated version of the original novel storyline, probably. That's what I'm guessing. From the sheer fact that description of what the show was supposed to be is still, out there. So.
I feel like the Red Angels, like, don't even need to exist now.
Pretty much. I mean, it's almost like, oh, look, there are rival gangs.
Yeah,
even though they're not really much of a rival.
They're not a rival at all. Like, they showed up in the last episode, and all they did was, like, we're on his side, and that was it. That's all they did. And it put an end to the war.
Yeah, it was just a show of force.
Oh my god.
I kind of want a spin-off just starring, like, that random assassin guy that... No,
Crow,
him too.
Or Shadow, or whatever his name
Shadow,
was.
yeah.
He was weird.
Yeah, I'm all like, he's hot. I'm like, can we have a show about him now? Because...
He felt like he was from a different anime.
Yeah, I'm like,
the whole time...
The whole time I'm watching him going, is he supposed to be somebody from something else? Did this guy write another novel series and he's like actually a cameo character?
That's what it felt like, yeah.
That's exactly how I feel about that hacker guy in the Key show.
Yeah, except
what
he's not from anything else.
Yeah.
Yeah, this
By the
guy
way, it's 15 volumes, the novels, and it's still going.
Oh, Jesus.
Yeah.
What?
The Ikebukuro Westgate Park novels.
What? That's not what I
wonder what restaurants they're saving in book 13.
Oh, well, I might be wrong. The
manga was adapted from the live-action TV series, which was adapted from the novels.
I hope it's like a game of telephone where, like, the next adaptation, like, they don't even know what's happening anymore.
It does seem kind of far removed from whatever the original source material is.
It's definitely not what I expected to watch when I started watching it. But I haven't dropped it, so that's cool.
Oh, it looks like there were like 4 short story collections, and then he started doing more stuff.
There's a better version of gangs doing non-gangy stuff that has rap battles in it.
Oh God.
And it's I almost said it's good. It's not good. It's really fun. Yeah, it's beating like 2 actual shows that people are watching this season. So that's interesting. And the tournament arc starts, I think, next week. So that's going to be cool. We're going to have I'm going to be freaking out in our Slack chat about really plot-driven rap battles. So, be ready. Oh, I want to complain about Talentless Nana for a second. This show fucking blows. It's like like somebody, and I don't know when the source material came out, but it feels like it is like you force bred Assassination Classroom with My Hero Academia, which are two really successful shows, but then like infused it with the angst of a 12-year-old who like tries his hand at writing dark stuff for his first time, and that's what Talentless Nana is, and it's fucking bad, and people watch this.
I've seen a lot of anime written by that 12-year-old.
Oh my god. Like, he needs to stop. It's just and I normally like shows like this where it's like the like kind of edgy horror type stuff, and this show tries to be horror, but it also tries to be Assassination Classroom and My Hero Academia. Like, the whole premise is like there's this fucking isolated class in the middle of nowhere that they put all these like talented people in, and like the goal is to just like, I don't know, be talented or something. And also there's an enemy of humanity among them, and they have to figure out who it is. And they just all got like these perks that they'd have in My Hero, and they just put a girl who wants to kill everyone inside of the classroom, and now the show is just her killing everyone, like, uncontested.
That does sound extremely derivative.
It's so bad. People watch this.
People watch everything.
I don't have anything to say to that. I watch it reluctantly. It's
yeah,
underneath
I was going to say,
the
you're watching
battles.
it, so you can't really say anything if you're still watching it.
I just want to complain about it.
Mm-hmm. That's fair.
The Necromancer girl was cute. But that's all I've got for that. I don't know what else Kate was watching, because we talked about one of her shows, and I think there were 3 this season? Two. Did you drop one?
No.
No.
There was only ever 2.
I think Kane was watching 3.
Oh, right. What's the second one?
Sleepy Princess.
Oh, right. Yeah, I'm not watching
As you yawn.
I am. I'm thinking Sleepy Princess thoughts, and yep, Sleepy Princess is still Sleepy Princess. We've reached the turning point where I think the demons have started realizing that that they like having their captive around.
Yeah, I mean, I appreciate that something different happened in the last episode. It was definitely getting a little too repetitive, so it was nice to have some variety there.
Yeah, they started shaking things up finally, and had the princess get rekidnapped by the Hades, who's not amused with Twilight running things, and that's when you started to see like, oh, maybe the group of demons actually like their captive more than they'd let on, and she actually likes them more than she lets on. She could have. You get the impression after this episode that like Silas could just get up and leave.
Oh, definitely. I mean, she's just like flying around. She's like, yeah, I'll come back to my original prison.
Yeah, she's like, let's go home. And by home she meant, her bed at the demon castle, not like her bed back in good rest. But yeah.
I mean, she's never been concerned with leaving. Her only problem was that it wasn't comfy, so
yeah.
She could have left at any time. She obviously can just go anywhere at any time.
So, yep. I just like the dawning realization on Twilight at the end of the episode that, oh no, what happens when she does leave, and the hero, like, if the hero succeeds or shows up and she leaves with him, and he just kind of has this dawning realization look on his face as like somewhere mixed between like horror and horror, as the idea of, oh shit, our captive might leave, oh shit, why does this upset me so much?
Yeah, they're all one big happy family.
Yeah. Cute show is cute and enjoyable. still remains enjoyable. It's yeah, it's like it is what it is, which is a really redundant way of saying like, yeah, it's a light comedy show. This is what you got.
It is very simple. Has only just started to have more than one joke.
This is true. And I'm trying to think how far out of that one, one joke they're actually going to get in 13 episodes, but
yeah, I don't really expect like a big plot line at the end of the season like a lot of shows try to do when they're just adapting a small fraction of the source material.
Yeah, I'm curious as to if like they'll try to shoehorn in some way to end it, or if they'll just be like, yep, there's more of this.
You can probably guess what happens in the next 100 episodes.
And there'll only be more of it if people really, really respond well in Japan. And it's really hard to tell sometimes what Japan gets really into and what they don't.
Yeah, I haven't been looking into it much. I know that, sales don't matter as much now as they did like 10 years ago, so can't necessarily just look at disc sales anymore.
Yeah, usually it's like, oh, how much did this spike the anime? Although that's not even the easy. That doesn't even tell you as much anymore now as it used to.
Yeah, there are a lot of factors.
Yeah.
Money stuff is weird. I don't get it.
Okay.
I just, anything involving market research, I'm just like, what?
Yeah.
It's like there's so many factors.
It was very easy when you could get a pretty good idea from like disc sales, but there's too much else involved, and that only ever applied to like your standard late night otaku anime, where that was like the big money. They just counted on those otaku to just buy everything. Yeah. But like Shonen Jump stuff, it's all about making the manga sell more. Everything has its different merchandise for a lot of stuff. Merchandise is huge.
Yeah, it always it comes down to like what was the driving goal for this thing to spike, whatever.
And a lot of times you can tell from like who's on the production committee, because if they're like publishers putting a lot into it, then they're probably counting on their material to sell more because of it.
So, yep, Sleepy Princess remains Sleepy Princess. I'm pretty happy with my shows this season. I know DJ's down on Westgate Park, but I'm actually kind of enjoying it, so I mean, I think the music alone in that show is worth the price of admission, and it's a nice looking show.
It does have a really great soundtrack, and it looks nice. Yeah, so I agree with both of those things.
Yeah, and I don't know. I like the characters well enough. It's just it's not very hard hitting, but I kind of like the slower. I like the slower pace of it, and I actually thought the despite the fact that the war arc amounted to nothing, I actually do like the way that the story flowed and how they ended up like resolving everything, and kind of made sense, like with who was actually the culprits and what their goals were, and just except for the assassin guy who kind of came out of nowhere and no point.
Why was he there?
Like, where did you come from? He must be from one of his other works or something. That's the only thing I can think of. It's like, this guy is random. Very, very random. Hot, but random.
I like his cloak. I want to start, I wish it was socially acceptable for me to just wear a cloak places.
I'd go down for that. Oh, cloak would be so comfy at work. It's so fucking cold in that building. Jesus.
That sucks. You actually have to go to work, huh?
Yeah. I can't do my job from remotely, unfortunately. The perils of working in this world at the moment. I actually have to run equipment. Boo. Alright, anybody else got any really hot, I don't know, anything?
Excuse me?
Anything. Opinions, hot takes. That's what I was looking for.
Hot takes. Not really a hot take, no.
Cold takes?
I've got takes.
I'll take takes.
I still think that the lesbian show is amazing. Adachi and Shimura.
Gee, big surprise.
Okay, hold up though. It's like just the writing in it is so different from like anything else that I have watched. I've mentioned in the last couple episodes, but like the majority of the show is done through inner monologues, but like the shit the characters say, it's like shit that you think but you'd never actually say out loud because it's like either too personal or too specific or weird. And just the amount of detail that goes into every single thought these girls have, it's just like, oh my god, you're so smart, whoever wrote this. I love it. It's just
probably should have watched that show instead of the ones I ended up dropping.
Do it. Watch like the first episode because it gives you a really good idea of what you're going to watch. And I don't want to say she's the main girl, but the one who you get the most inner monologues from is a really interesting character. She reminds me a lot of Kumiko from Sound Euphonium, and just the fact that she's not like a normal anime girl protagonist. She has like actual human thoughts that me or you would have, and she's very relatable. It's such a cool show. And we're like 8 episodes in, and they haven't even kissed yet. So there you go. It's the good kind of Yuri.
The plot-driven kind.
Yeah.
It's interesting. The writer of the light novel wrote the light novel spin-off of Bloom Into You, the regarding Saiki Sayaka.
Oh, interesting. I didn't know that. She was an interesting character.
Yeah.
The world needs more good Yuri. More things like this. I was like going through pictures in my phone from like fucking 2 years ago, and I had a promo image for this anime in there, and I was like, I don't even remember this. So I'm glad to see that my tastes have held up.
I take back every good thing I said about Craig earlier.
Oh, Craig's gone. Didn't even know.
Craig said, fuck you guys, and took off.
What other takes are there? Oh, there's another lesbian show this season. The Ochikobere fruit tart one, or the
is it like
dropout
real,
idol fruit tart?
Is it like real lesbian or like Love Live lesbian?
No, they're like this show is like 30% idol stuff and just 70% of them being degenerate lesbians and just like talking about how much they like girls. At first it was just like pseudo kind of like Love Live, like she jokes about liking girls, but now it's like there are like girls stalking girls and like writing them fucking like stalkery love letters, and the main girl is just straight up trying to fucking get in everybody's pants.
Wow.
It's not what I expected it to be, but
that sounds like what Saya's character has become in Wandering Witch.
Yeah, and I fully support that relationship. I love them so much.
What's going on in there?
Very horny very quickly.
Yeah, she just shows up in like a couple episodes after her first episode where she like has problems and is sad and stuff, and now she's just trying to bang Elena. That's all she wants.
Wow, that show's gone places.
Elena's not
so
letting it
weird
happen.
And inconsistent.
like one of them is clearly more lesbian than the other. I'm all
that show is like tonally so different every episode.
I love it. It's so weird. It's just fucking whiplash. Like you just never know what you're gonna get when going in.
Yeah.
Overall, I think this season's okay.
Yeah. I mean, it's definitely, the most packed season we've had in a while.
It's
So,
nice having anime again.
right.
Like, I like having options.
Yeah. Yeah, like I said before, there's not a ton that's really amazing this season.
Mm-hmm.
But it's nice to have a good amount of stuff, and Attack on Titan's coming back in a few weeks. Hopefully that lives up to its potential under new supervision.
Oh, I did like the most recent episode of Jujutsu Kaisen a lot. I think I'm back in.
Nice.
Fucking Satoru is a cool dude, and
Yeah.
I want the show to focus more on him than who it actually focuses on.
It's still pretty far down on your list.
Yeah, it's probably I'm gonna move it up to 11 again. It's right behind Assault Lily now, which is the other lesbian show. There are a lot of them this season. The Shaft lesbian show. So it's a lot of thighs and neck tilts, which are like two of my favorite things.
I didn't even realize Shaft had a show this season.
Yeah, it's like one of like the Shaft shows that people don't pay attention to because I think it's based on a mobile game. It's
so
just,
was Magia Record.
Yeah, and I fucking love that, but most people don't apparently. So I can't even hear Magia Record without getting salty anymore since they canceled the fucking English translation of the game. And
really?
Yeah, literally out of nowhere, and it fucking took the entire fan base by surprise. Like no one knew why. They were like number 30 on fucking mobile games, like like RPG anime mobile games or whatever. So it's not like they weren't making money. They just randomly messaged the English following one day and was like, the game closes next month. And it was just jaw-dropping. Like everyone was so upset. They never even gave an explanation.
That's extremely bizarre.
Yeah, I still have no idea, and I'm never going to find out why it happened. Japanese game's still going strong. Like it's just they gave up the translation.
I've seen that happen with other games where they're just like, yeah, we're not translating this anymore. But when they seem to be like highly charting and there are people playing, that's odd.
Yeah, people fucking wailed on this game. Like, and they didn't give any refunds, as they never do, but like people would dump thousands into it, and just they like the next day it was like, oh yeah, you only have a month left to enjoy all of that money that you just spent. Sorry, bye.
God.
Yeah, I can't even imagine.
Oh.
It's interesting. This there haven't been that many Shaft shows recently compared to how many there used to be, and the last few and next one don't have Shinbo credited as like chief director, where he had been for every single Shaft show for so long. So I guess they must be changing things up a little bit.
It still has the same feeling, Assault Lily.
Right, of course.
Yeah,
I mean, maybe that's it. Is they've just like
figured it
gotten
out.
that style.
Like, where can we put a really like big close up of a thigh right now?
You're right. Yeah. Yeah. So maybe they don't need the supervision anymore because everyone just knows
they're all grown up.
Yeah.
Oh man, I love them. Most of the time. And then things like fucking Fate Extra happen.
But yeah, Jujutsu Kaisen, obviously another one of the shows that I'm really into. It's like, if you don't count Conan, which is forever ongoing, I think I probably had a similar ranking this last time, but Jujutsu Kaisen is so much higher than everything else for like the new shows this season.
In terms of like production quality, absolutely. Like it's on a different level than everything else.
Which it's interesting. The I don't know whether I should be excited or worried about Mappa doing Attack on Titan now, because it's going to be airing simultaneously, because I think Jujutsu Kaisen is 2 cours. So it's going to be running alongside Attack on Titan. So that means that, hopefully not all of their good staff is just focused on Jujutsu Kaisen. because Attack on Titan really needs it.
I'm liking the Mappa show I'm watching this season a lot. That Taiso Samurai one. It's fucking
Oh, that's also
gymnastics
them?
samurai. It's really good. Um, it's just I looked at the score on my anime list and it's not good, and I don't really understand why. But it's kind of just like a dude who did gymnastics and fucking his it's a drama of getting back into gymnastics. Like, this guy's life goes to shit after his wife dies, and like he has to raise his daughter all on his own. He is like being told to retire from gymnastics, which is all he's ever done, and was like super famous at one point, and it's just like a return to form for him. So that's what the entire show's about, and I don't know what the problem some people apparently have with it is, because it's been a really solid character drama so far, and the only thing that has made it shy away from greatness is one character who is really fucking annoying. But Demon Slayer had Zenitsu, and Zenitsu didn't ruin that show. And I'm not saying that this is on the same level as Demon Slayer, because it's very much not. But I don't think one annoying character can ruin something that bad. So I'm going to look into what more people are saying about this.
Yeah. Yeah, so I guess Mappa has, like, they often have two shows running at the same time, but, like, I guess for a very short period of time, they're going to have three running at the same time. And then Jujutsu Kaisen and Attack on Titan will be running all of next season simultaneously. So, and I guess that was, like, part of the reason why they went to Mappa for the final season of Attack on Titan, is because they're so much bigger than WIT, and they wanted to have those resources. So hopefully that really it lives up to that.
Weird though. I'm never gonna get over how weird that is.
It is very weird. I'm sure there's a lot of reasons that we'll never find out.
They should tell us. Let's get their executives on the show.
Yeah, I don't even know who made the decision. It could have been WIT. It could have been.
Call up Aaron Yeager. He'll know.
Yeah, that guy. But yeah, that show looks great, and I hope Attack on Titan does too.
Yeah, it'd be a real bummer if it was just to suck in the last season, coming off of the best one so far.
Right. Yeah, I mean, I'm not as worried as I rightfully was about One Punch Man. But, you know, there's always the risk there when you've got something that good and you just completely change it. I don't know, change is scary.
Maybe we'll get like one of those situations where we didn't know that this is what we wanted the whole time. Like with Origairu. Its feel was much better.
Yeah, that's the hope for sure.
Yeah. All right.
It was so perfect last time that, like, I'm fine if I never knew that there was a better one. It's not worth the risk.
Okay. Was there anything else that we wanted to discuss from this season?
I'm watching a Chinese show on Funimation.
Whoa.
Yeah, it's interesting.
Xianguan Shifu.
Yeah. Do you, like, actually know how to pronounce Chinese names, or you just
slightly
phonetically? Okay.
Slightly. Am I close? Do you know how to pronounce that?
No.
Okay, I think I'm close.
I don't think they ever say the title. The weirdest thing is just hearing Chinese being spoken all the time. Like, I never hear Chinese, and I'm just so used to Japanese.
Yeah.
I mean, it looks and is directed exactly like any Japanese anime, and, you know, it's the Howliners, whatever their Japanese branch is, Emon, I don't know how to pronounce it. But, you know, it's just anime in every sense, except they're speaking Chinese, which is, yeah, kind of jarring. But I think it's a really good production. I'm impressed.
I watched, I can't remember what it was called, but there was one studio who was from China, and they put out, like, a show every season for, like, an entire year a few years ago.
I think it's the same one.
I hated all of those.
Yeah, they were all bad.
They were all really bad. But it was always really weird for me because they'd speak, like, Japanese, but the names were all Chinese, and, like, that confused the shit out of my brain.
And I don't know if it was the same way. Probably, I think it was this when I was watching those shows. And it's the same for like Kingdom, which is an entirely Japanese story or Japanese production, but it's a story that takes place in China. Which is that they use the Japanese reading of the kanji, but the subtitles use the like Chinese.
That's so weird.
I don't know what the Chinese version of Romaji is, but uh, it's a very different reading of it. So what you hear and what you're reading are not similar at all, except for their meanings in their respective languages. So yeah, that was always very jarring to me. At least they match now that I'm watching something that's actually spoken in Chinese.
Interesting. I want to look that up. I haven't heard of this.
Yeah, it's fairly new. There's only 4 episodes out, so it started a little later than the rest of the season. But yeah, it's a very strong production.
Oh, yeah, I keep seeing the splash art for this on Funimation's website, and I'm like, that looks really good.
Yeah.
Okay, maybe I'll check that out.
What's it about?
It's about a not quite god, I guess, but like divine dude, who's kind of a fuck up, and they kind of like kick him out of his role and make him go down to the mortal realm and like fix shit there. And he's pretty effective at it. He's just kind of like a nice guy with super divine powers. And a lot of the first few episodes were about fighting this zombie dude who like kidnaps brides. Yeah, it's very anime, but it's also very Chinese because it's like it's Chinese people writing a story about China back before it was influenced by Westerners. Yeah.
Classical Chinese
Right,
mythology-esque stuff.
Yeah.
Cool. Maybe I should check that out.
Yeah, definitely the hardest part of it for me is just hearing Chinese. I don't know why it's so weird to me.
I love listening to people butcher the Chinese pronunciations in Genshin because nobody seems to know how to pronounce the name of the country.
Oh, yeah. Yeah, a lot of the pronunciations in that game are interesting.
Funny, but
at least if I like hear a dub of something where they're Chinese names, I don't know that they're mispronouncing it. But like so many dubs right, exactly. So many dubs that have Japanese names all over them. Just any minor mispronunciation just irks me so much.
Oh god, yeah.
See, the thing that's the tip off in Genshin is that like 7 different characters are all pronounced something differently.
Yeah, that does suck. The inconsistency is possibly even worse than just consistent mispronunciation.
It's such a good game, though.
I know it is.
Even with all its
like
flaws.
This game has no right to be as good as it is.
Yeah, MiHoYo has a lot of money, so.
Yep. Now they have even more money.
Yeah, like a significantly more. I really hope that like more games sprout up like Genshin Impact, because this is a genre of gacha I had no idea I needed. And I'm positive someone else is going to try and replicate this.
Oh, yeah. Totally. I don't think anybody had the cat. I mean, yeah, I don't know.
Honkai Impact made a lot of fucking money, so they put it to good use.
Yeah.
I never even heard of that until this came out.
Really? It's I got ads for it all the time on Facebook. And it's a really good looking game. I played it for a little while. I just didn't care for the gacha system, because instead of like having a bunch of different characters, it had like a bunch of different versions of like 4 characters, and I didn't care. So combat wise it was fun. A little complex, but fun. This is like anybody could get into Genshin Impact, I feel. It's a very beginner friendly game.
Yeah, I mean, the Breath of the Wild style is definitely appealing.
Yeah, it's disgustingly competent. And at first, when they're like, "Oh, they're making a AAA like gacha," it's like, "Ha ha ha, that's cute."
Yeah,
I
I
bet they are.
didn't
And
fucking
then
care at all.
and then I played the beta, and I was like, "Oh no, this is gonna be massive." And the game came out, and I was like, "Yep, took over the world."
I ignored everything about this game until like 3 days after it came out, and everyone wouldn't shut up about it. So I was like, fine, let's see. Now I can't stop.
Yeah,
I know.
the only thing I knew about it beforehand was that people got like mad about it being a Breath of the Wild ripoff when it was first announced.
Oh yeah. The guy smashing his PlayStation 4, whatever.
Whatever dumb shit. But yeah, I've heard very good things about it since its release.
Yeah. I feel like I don't even need to recommend it because I feel like
everybody's playing it already.
Yeah, everybody's playing it. Even my fucking friend who never like. I posted something on Twitter about pulling a character, and then all of a sudden my friends are like, "Hey, I'm on Twitter on a Friday night," and then the next thing I noticed was that somebody in her household had been playing it because they had a level 4 character in my friends list with their name. I'm like, so who in your house is playing this game? Because it's probably not you. It's probably your husband. But yeah, so yeah. I'm actually a little bit surprised more people on my friends list haven't been playing it, but they will. Oh, they will at some point. It'll get everybody in the end. Anybody got anything else about anime?
From this season, I don't think there's anything else I'm dying to talk about right now. I just want to remind everybody that if you like Bang Dream, watch D4DJ because it's Bang Dream again, the same exact thing.
Yeah, let's see. So Haikyuu is still fine. It's still not up to Haikyuu standards. Jujutsu Kaisen we talked about, but I would be remiss to not mention that the panda has been introduced. His name is Panda, and no more explanation is given, which is immediately acknowledged in show. Like, aren't you going to say more about the fact that there is a panda whose name is Panda? In the same scene, another character is introduced, and his introduction is, I don't even remember his name. Is it Norimaki?
Probably.
This is Norimaki. He can only speak in sushi ingredients. That's his character introduction.
I don't get it.
And it's true. He only speaks sushi ingredients. That's all of his dialogue.
He yelled tuna last episode.
Oh man. So yeah, that show can be fun, but it's also a fucking bitchin' action show.
Lord of the Rings was in one of the last episodes.
That's true.
It was actually in the show.
It was in the show, yeah. I mean, not like live action footage, but an anime version.
An anime Lord of the Rings.
Yeah, which, I mean, what more could you ask for?
That sounds amazing.
Speaking of, so the, like, first few scenes of a recent episode of Tonikaku Kawaii, a few episodes back now, but the scenes before the opening of one of the episodes are the most I've seen myself represented in anime. It's just me encapsulated into a few minutes at the beginning of that episode. It's amazing. Like, yeah, Jujutsu Kaisen has a Lord of the Rings reference, but this just like blows through so many media franchises. And yeah, Tsukasa is just a cute anime girl me.
She's so good. I love her.
She's pretty awesome, yeah.
It's such a weird show.
It is a strange show.
Like,
yeah.
I still don't really like get it, but I love it.
No. Yeah. I was expecting, like, I don't know,
more supernatural
6 episodes ago to like know what the fuck its point was.
Yeah.
But no, we're still just like they just got married and there's something else going on with her in particular, and we're just gonna have a fun little time together.
Yeah, just ignore the whatever
nice,
the fuck is
cute
going
couple.
on.
Yeah. Yeah, the show's interesting.
And the opening is a fucking banger. Oh man.
Yeah, I do like the opening a lot. but yeah, she definitely stole my heart with those scenes, and she has repeatedly, like in the last episode, where he's like talking about all the museums in Kyoto and stuff.
We go look
I
at
just want to go to the
manga.
manga library.
Yeah.
Yeah, that's my girl.
Oh no. Now I'm gonna think of you every time I see her.
uh, um, yeah, Love Live is still pretty good. I'm starting to form my ideas of who my favorites are and
Who?
my least favorites. Shit, I need to look up the names. I don't have them all off the top of my head.
Which episode?
Well, let me just find the names because
I didn't care much for Rena, who's the girl with the fucking like board. She can't emote.
Okay.
Yeah.
Yeah, I was just gonna say she's my favorite.
I loved her episode. It's probably my favorite episode so far.
Yeah.
I didn't care for her at all before the anime, like, because I know most of the characters from the game, and
That's right, yeah.
You don't like see her grow into that role. She's already in that role in the game, so you don't know how she gets there. And like seeing that journey was so cool, and her song was so good.
Yeah, that episode was definitely one of the best, and that's kind of from an anime only watcher perspective. That's definitely how you associate with these girls is once they get their episode. It's like whoever is the character I have the least opinion on is always the one whose episode is next, and then of course I have a much stronger opinion. But her, even before she was like a character at all, I was like, I bet she's gonna be my favorite.
Yeah,
because I like her gimmick a lot.
That's what I thought. Like before the game, I was like, that's gonna be my girl, and then like I just didn't care. But now I care again. So hooray!
Yeah,
I still like I more though. That's cool though because our best girls are friends. Well, they're all friends, but ours are best friends.
Yeah, they're girlfriends.
Yeah, they're dating. That show like is more lesbian than I thought it was gonna be.
Yeah, they definitely have like the couples paired up.
Yeah, like Emma and Karen, I thought were straight up gonna make out in their episode.
Yeah,
Emma's another character I didn't really care about either, and then I got her episode, and now I love it. It's just it took all the girls that I didn't care for and like made me care for them, and that's how you write characters.
She's probably near the bottom of my list. She's very cute.
I love her voice. It's like her singing voice in particular. It's just so joyful.
But she's just such a Swiss foreign girl stereotype.
Do you know?
It's like
you probably don't know like how she came into existence, do you?
No.
Okay, so Love Live did a weird thing. For a very long time, they've been having like character polls for the side characters in the original Love Live game. And every time like the side girls would win, they'd get like special promo art, or they'd get like a fucking like one of them would get a statue or something. And groups of people would coordinate who to vote for online so that the same girls didn't win every single time. And a couple years ago, when they were just starting out the Nijigasaki project, they had another one of those polls, but they didn't tell anybody what it was for. And so there was just like an organized vote, and Emma, Shizuka, and Kanata, the sleepy girl, they all won, but no one knew like what they were winning, and so that's how they became characters in Love Live. Like they're actual characters now. It's really weird. Like so she's stereotypical on purpose, but I feel like if they had a say in the last three girls that they were going to create for the show, she is not one that they would have made.
Yeah, just throughout that whole episode, I just felt like, because there's the Heidi Girl of the Alps anime back in the 70s that Takahata did, and that was like really influential in Japan for anime. And I really feel like the guys who wrote this character, that is 100% of their experience with Switzerland. And so they just took all of the stereotypes they could find in that show and condensed it into a character, into an idol. And that's Emma. So yeah, I don't love her. I think Kanata Kasumine is the only one I occasionally actively dislike.
That's fair. she really goes hard.
Right. I'm a little surprised by, because I liked Nico a lot, and I feel like they have some similar elements, some similar characteristics. Mm-hmm. But yeah, I do find Kasumine pretty obnoxious.
She's very obnoxious. I like her, though. I don't know if I'd put her in my top 3, but she's, I think, top 5.
Yeah, I don't know if my top 3 have changed in a while. I think even before I knew anything about Rina, she was up there. Even though she's not part of the group.
Yeah, we should just count you because she's great.
Yeah. Oh yeah, definitely. I like her a lot. I think Setsuna. Probably.
She's the star. Yeah, everybody likes Setsuna.
And again, the fact that it turns out that she's an otaku.
You haven't even seen
endears
the half
me
of
to
it.
her.
She's fucking hardcore. It's great.
But yeah, I think those 3 are probably the ones I like the most. But that could change as I get to know the others more.
I'm just so happy that they're actual characters this time.
It is very nice.
Oh, man. That's why I like idols. So we like them for their personalities, not because they're walking fucking tropes. That shit away from us.
So that's Love Live. Akudama Drive had a surprisingly excellent episode last week. I guess it's halfway through the series. They just went really hard, really emotional, great action, very climactic, plot-heavy episode to get that middle of the season plot going. So that was much better than I ever expected that show to be. So that has me excited. Moriarty also improving at a good pace. After episode 1, I think I had it as C+, and it's a pretty solid B now. So climbed up a couple grades within a few episodes, so that's good. We just met Sherlock, so that's promising.
Is he hot?
Everyone in the show is hot.
Oh yeah.
Are there any girls in the show? I don't think there's been any female character of any significance yet. Yeah, that's pretty much everything that we haven't talked that much about yet. Wandering Witch is fucking weird. I have no idea what to think of it any given episode.
I'm just rooting for it to become more lesbian at this point.
It is really weird how quickly Saya just turned into fucking...
I love it. I get it.
Girl number 1.
I get it.
Bizarre. What if it's...
What, Kate?
Nothing.
Okay. Sure.
No, I don't know. I heard the source material wasn't that good, so I'm just curious as to...
Yeah, I mean, whether or not it's good changes from moment to moment, episode to episode, even within the
weird
episodes.
Show.
Yeah. The something I was talking about last time with it, where it's sometimes it gets so surreal that it's kind of hard to know how to feel about it. You can't really reconcile it with standard real world logic. It feels kind of like Twilight Zone-y in that sense sometimes. This is just such a surreal foreign world that you can't really view it the way you would a normal production in any sense, a normal story. It's just so weird. And then other times it's this is a total normal anime, just like any other one. It's bright and cheery. Elena's a good person again. She's endearing and empathetic. Yeah, it's so weird.
It's almost like each episode's written by somebody else. It's just they show them a picture of Elena. They're all right, we need you to write an adventure for this girl. All right, what's she like? Conceited. Go.
It's like the Lupin the Third franchise. If just every series or every movie was a different episode of a show, because Lupin kind of has that, where the characters are drastically different depending on who's writing them. Like you can have cuddly nice boy Miyazaki Lupin, and then just for fucking horrible murdering, actual criminal Lupin. Yeah.
True. Yeah. This character reimagined through 7 different other writers.
Yeah. So it's like that, except it's one single series by the same writer.
Jeez.
Also, I posted a video of what One Piece looks like now to give you an idea of how good the animation quality is.
Oh yeah, I knew about how crazy the animation had gotten for it. So, oh, it's so weird that Toei went from not giving a shit to giving all the shits.
I know.
I don't get
it's kind of like a gradual evolution over the past few Dragon Ball and One Piece movies and arcs. And yeah, they just keep adding to it and making it better and better. But yeah, a few years ago, they really didn't give a shit about anything.
Yeah, bizarre, strange, very strange. But hey, I mean, strange for the better, so
yeah,
I'll take it.
For sure.
All right, want to move into recommendations?
Yeah, but I don't want to go first because all I have are figure recommendations.
I mean, figures are cool.
Okay, well, I guess I'll just recommend figures then. I name dropped it earlier, but Origairu, or My Teenage Romantic Comedy, is not as I expected, or not what I expected, or whatever it is. Just had
it's wrong
as I expected. It's weird because the manga has a different English localized title than the anime does, and
yeah, the anime's English title is fucking stupid. And I think TBS insisted on that, and I'm so glad the light novels used the actual translation.
It's fucking weird. Anyway, they just dropped a series of new figures for that show, and the main 3 girls all get them, so that's cool. And there's also, for anyone interested in Hyperdimension Neptunia, there is a new Nepgear figure that's like $200, and it is beautiful. And they're all up on Right Stuff in their like hot pre-orders section if you want to find any of them, but be ready to spend money because they're nice.
Figures is an expensive habit to have.
Yeah, I just bought my most expensive figure a couple weeks ago, and it was like $150 or something.
It's no life-size Rem.
No, it never will be.
I feel like $150 is like the low end of the high-quality figures.
Yeah, it's like low-high. So I don't have a lot of high-quality stuff because until recently I had zero money. I'm easing my way in, okay?
Yeah. Yeah, no, I'm glad I've never gotten into figures. It's so much money, so much space.
But you have Aniplex Blu-rays and shit.
Yeah.
Which are much more expensive.
Like, well...
Some of them.
Yeah. There are many figures much more expensive
also
than
true.
Any anime release will
also
ever
true.
Be. Like, yeah, sure, there's Rem, but like, have you ever heard of Tsume art?
Yeah, they're all really like fucking $8 million.
Right, exactly. Yeah, so there's some shit there that anime can't touch. Speaking of Aniplex Blu-rays, one of my recommendations is the second half of Demon Slayer Kimetsu no Yaiba on limited edition Blu-ray from Aniplex. That just came out. Just started watching that again. And yeah, these are nice high quality Aniplex limited editions, and they come with all the soundtracks from the series by Goshina. They don't have any of the Yuki Kachioda music, which is kind of weird because they've released like Yuki Kachioda soundtracks with everything she's done music for from Aniplex for the past like 10 years. But the Goshina music, I think I've already told you, DJ, but the amount of tracks on these soundtracks from him,
yeah,
for this 26 episode series of the tracks he worked on, these 2 Blu-rays come with 290 songs.
Ooh, I was gonna guess 260. Damn.
Yeah. Yeah. I mean, I already told you. If it was like, if I hadn't told you, I would have had you guess. But yeah, 290 songs for 26 episodes. And, as you could maybe imagine based on that, especially if you've seen the show and are like, I don't recall 300 unique pieces of music, there's a lot of repetition in there. There's like 5 to 10 completely unique melodies and elements that they just reuse over and over again in slightly different arrangements. But it's still cool that they have it all there. Um, yeah, so that's those are some good releases. Check those out. Uh, Also, another excellent release that I got recently and just watched all of the material on and read the book it comes with and listened to the soundtrack CD it came with is the Weathering with You Collector's Edition from G Kids. Uh,
Ooh.
yeah, so this is a very nice release. It's a chipboard art box with some beautiful Shinkai art. It has the film on 4K Ultra HD Blu-ray as well as regular Blu-ray. Um, it has a ton of extras, and it has like 3 completely different hour plus long behind the scenes featurettes or like
Whoa.
interviews featurettes. Yeah. Um, One of them is a full hour and a half. Another one is definitely more than an hour. One of them I think is just under an hour. And they're all very different, but as you can imagine, lots of time spent with Shinkai in all of them. And he's a very interesting guy with a lot of very interesting things to say and extremely passionate and hardworking. Um, and It's like the anti Miyazaki, his workplace, where he he's just as dedicated to being an auteur and making sure every piece of his productions fit his vision perfectly. But he is very gentle in guiding everyone to that and very patient with everyone, which is nice to see. But yeah, he's still extremely driven and knows exactly what he wants from every bit of his production. So it's very cool to see. It also comes with a book that has a bunch of material. A lot of it's just like voice actors being like, such an honor, blah, blah, blah. Normal uh, PR shit. But there's also a bunch of audience submitted questions at the end that Shinkai answers, and there's some really good ones in there, some really thoughtful ones, and things that you might have wondered about. Um, he even addresses how his cinematic universe can't actually be a single universe and just has to be parallel universes with characters that recur throughout them.
I remember how people were trying to justify some stuff
Right.
in Weathering with You, and they're like, wait a minute, this doesn't make sense.
Yeah.
It's like,
He addresses that specifically. Someone asks about exactly that, and he answers. So yeah, some good stuff in there. Very candid about things that you might expect people in that position to just kind of give you like a non-answer to. So that's all very interesting to check out. Oh, also it has a lot of like artwork, promotional artwork, which is all beautiful, of course. But it also has his original project proposal for the film and like his original concept art. So it's very interesting to see what he first thought of, what has changed, and the coolest thing that he included on this, that they included from his proposal, is he had like laid out the flaws in his concept and what they need to like work through to actually make it a film that will work. He's like, yeah, I'm not quite sure about this. This isn't going to work. We need to figure out how to make this better. Um, and you get to see a bit of that in some of the behind the scenes material as well. So that's all really cool. And it comes with the soundtrack CD. It has a really nice fold out digipack with some beautiful scenery from his movie, as the Your Name Japanese collector's edition did that I got with the 4K Blu-ray of that. So it's nice to see that they replicated that for the American release for this movie. Yeah, so those are 2 anime releases that I recommend. For manga, something that I think it came out a month or 2 ago, but I just got it, was the first volume of the Blade of the Immortal Deluxe Edition. So Dark Horse is doing like the same thing that they did for Berserk here. So there are these massive, full size of the original magazine prints, big hardcover, faux leather, textured covers. It's got like the fancy ribbon bookmark thing. Um, any color pages from the original are retained, I think. I haven't actually looked through it. I assume so. But the big caveat here is after all this time, all these re-releases, everything they're putting into this, it's still flipped.
Oh.
Yeah. And
Oh.
they begin every book with this this thing about the respect of the quality of the original art and how like the creator preferred that we rearrange the panels instead of mirroring them to keep his artwork. And that creates some problems sometimes, and it's not ideal. It gets confusing sometimes. There are some situations where we just have to mirror the artwork. I'm like, motherfuckers, just present the original material. It's not 1994 anymore. It's 2020. You can just have it right to left. Jesus. Ugh, so that pisses me off. But
Ugh.
everything else about it's really nice. Ah, I asked Carl Horn about this at a Dark Horse panel a few years ago, and his reason was just that it would be too much work to just go back and like redo it with an unflopped version. But Jesus, after all these re-releases, because they just did just standard omnibuses of the whole series, that just ended. Now they're doing it this way with these massive, super premium, super expensive Berserk style deluxe editions. Like by now, really, that's not something that you can commit to. Ugh, that pisses me off. But other than that, it's a really nice release. um, Another thing I got recently is the A Silent Voice soundtrack is up on Right Stuff. I think this is a anime limited UK release that's recently been ported over to the US. And it's the same as the Japanese release. It's just an English book in it. It's a 2-disc set. That film also has quite a few tracks. I think it's 61 tracks between the 2 discs. But it similarly has a lot of very repetitive stuff. It's very ambient, very subdued, as you might expect from a film about silence and deafness. So it's kind of an impactful, minimalistic sound. But if you're trying to stay awake on a long drive or something, maybe don't pop the Silent Voice CD in your car. You'll probably crash. But yeah, it's really good. Kensuke Ushio is a really impressive composer because he has incredible range. He also did the Ping Pong soundtrack, which I think it's on iTunes. It was on iTunes when I downloaded it like 5 years ago. So I listened to that a lot, and that is extremely energetic, kinetic, as you might expect from that show. So yeah, he has a wide range between like a Silent Voice, Listen to Bluebird style, and then his Yuasa works, very different ends of the spectrum. Yeah, so there's that, and then as we'll talk about in an upcoming episode, Right Stuff holiday sales have begun, so go ahead and spend a bunch of money there. And as for things not at all related to anime, I started watching The Queen's Gambit on Netflix, and it's very good. So I recommend that to anyone who wants a good drama miniseries.
I don't know if I have any recommendations at the moment. Although you just gave me now. Thank you for reminding me that the Weathering with You special edition is a thing because it's going on my birthday Christmas list. So
yeah,
yay! You win. You win the recommendation award.
Hey Kate, have you watched Your Name yet?
No. Should probably put that on the list too. Man, I can't think of. And come on, Right Stuff. This isn't. These don't look like new releases to me. These look like little plushy figurines.
I should probably look up if there are any upcoming releases, because that's just the stuff that I got recently that I'm very excited about. I'm getting a lot of stuff recently.
I'm afraid because now that I have an income again, I'm like, oh, look at all this shit I could be buying. I will take advantage of some of these sales, but we'll get to that next time. Maybe that's what I'll do. I'll save all my recommendations for next time. Which will hopefully not be too far in the future, and these sales will still be going on.
Yeah.
Otherwise, that would suck. I mean, if you're listening to us overseas, sorry, we do tend to focus on one specific retailer, but that's mostly because that's who we deal with. Because they're cheap.
I mean, in general, we talk about US and Canada releases, so I'm sure we're going to alienate a lot of other people anyway.
But do look up your local dealers on these titles that we talk about, because you can get them in your local language and from your local retailers. All right, Kestrel, where can you find us?
You can find us wherever you find podcasts, Apple Podcasts, Google Podcasts, Spotify, Stitcher, SoundCloud, iHeartRadio, Alexa, fandompost.com. Give us money. By us, I mean Chris. Follow us on Facebook and Twitter. Share our stuff. Get in touch with us. You can also get in touch with us via email, fandompostradio@gmail.com. And I'm on Twitter at FullMetalKyoma. I mostly tweet about DJ.
I mostly tweet about my video game. You can find that on Patreon at patreon.com/lessonsinlove, or you can find me, which is immensely less interesting, on Twitter at DJ No Style.
1,000 DJ fans can't be wrong.
997 DJ fans, Kestrel. I'm falling off.
Yeah. You hit your peak.
I hope I never make it to 1,000 again.
I still want to know what I think it's just because you made it to 1,000 that caused people
100%.
to drop off your...
Yeah.
Go follow DJ and make him back up to 1,000 again. You can find me on Twitter at SonicBug. I've probably been pretty quiet lately because I am working a new job, so... Still. Thank you for listening. Please join us next time for our Holiday Buyer's Guide, which I like to do every year so that people have one stop to check out all of the best shit that came out this year for purchase that we have purchased or wish to purchase. Stay safe. Wash your hands. It's getting bad out there again. Please be safe. This year sucks. Please be safe. And listen to us next time.
Peace out.
See ya.